Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. It's been crazy busy around here, and it's on the other side of the wall. Kind of intense. We're getting ready for the Wedding Trends and Technique workshop tomorrow, and it's going to be so cool. It's fabulous. The flowers are amazing. It's just been insane, though, getting ready, because we got a lot to do. We're doing, oh my gosh, what all? We're making a bouquet, obviously, duh, Wedding Trends and Techniques, got to do a bouquet. And then going to do a moon gate. You know how fun that is. Everybody's into making a statement, and so we've got a statement piece. Actually, we have more than one statement piece. And then we'll be doing the big elevated, doing that. And we're staging it so you can get a good shot. And then, got to do a hanging piece, you know, all the important things. So tomorrow gets crazy around here, but today was crazier to get ready for tomorrow so that when students show up, it's like, easy, now we just play with flowers. So I thought, I'll come in the studio and just play with flowers where it's more fun to be with you. So welcome to Wednesday, welcome to Live. Today is flower-ific, as you can see. I don't know how many first-timers we have, but let's do housekeeping, because if you have not joined us before, you don't know the whole drill. When we do a live, we kind of go over the top, and we fill the studio with support people to make sure that everything goes well. So I get to be up here and talk to you. I get the easy job. Then directly facing me is Ricky, who makes sure that I stay live. And she's like, you've got 2 minutes, you got 1 minute, coming live, 5, 4, 3. You're like, get over there. And then she's looking at me like, will you stand in the center? Will you quit wiggling? You understand. She's the one that keeps us going. Then off to this side, I'm not going to say right and left because I always screw it up, Teacher Michelle. And she's with you on Facebook. And we'll be watching for your comments, looking to see what you're doing, see if you have any questions, and then she'll verbalize them to me. And then off to this side, we have Teacher Carolyn. She'll be with you on YouTube, looking for what you say, verbalizing it to me so that I know what's going on out there. It's kind of lonely up here all by myself, so if you don't type / talk to me, I feel lost. So please, as we go through, I expect those fingers to be going and typing away. Then virtually, we've got Caledonia on Facebook. Thank you, Callie, for joining us. And we have Susie on YouTube. Yay, Susie. Couldn't do it without the A-team out there in the virtual land. And then David is with us, making sure that we do the things we're supposed to be doing. So, as you can see, it takes a lot of us. Then it's you. The most important part. If you're watching on your phone, if you turn it sideways, it's a little bigger. If you're watching while you're at work and you're not supposed to be looking at your phone and you have it down and you just have a bud in your ear, I'll say, what do you think about this lovely design? That'll be your clue that, pick it up and look so that you can see what we're doing. If you're on your computer, you can go full screen, get a bigger picture. If you're on your TV, I'm already larger than life, so you're good to go. You have a job. Very first thing, right now, this minute, type in where you're from. Say hello. Get to know the fellow Tulip Bunch. Start the collaboration. So take a moment. I'll shut up for just a second. Type where you're from. If you are a Tulip Bunch member, a student, a graduate, Flower Lovers Club member, put your tulip in there. Are you doing it? Michelle, Carolyn, are they doing it?
They're doing it.
Yep. Okay, thank you. You're doing your part. Oh, I love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Okay, so I'll put my phone away in case it starts to ring or something. You know, that's bad form. But I'll get that out of the way. And then I want you to see some really fun stuff. And then we're going to make them go away because I'm not using these today. This is just to tease you. I know how bad is that. Everything that you're going to see here, and I have so much to work with, was a surprise package from florabundance.com. and also gardenrosesdirect.com, although this is mostly Florabundance. Garden Roses Direct, I've got some of it. Actually, I got some, but there's more out there too that we're using later. But anyway, most of this is from Florabundance, and I just said, we're doing late spring, summer, send me fabulousness, things that are great. And it was a surprise package. And that's something that you can do too. You can say, this is my budget, this is my color palette, send me a surprise package. And you know what? You always get the coolest stuff. Cafe au lait dahlias. I mean, it's only April. And these cafe au lait dahlias are absolutely exquisite. I mean, look at that. Oh my gosh, they just are grand. Every single stem in the bunch is perfect. And you know how tricky those are. That's always kind of a big deal. But we did excellent care and handling. Carolyn got them all in, took explicit care of them, making sure, you know, quick dipping and flower food and all the stuff you're supposed to do. But I'm going to be filming with these tomorrow. You don't get to see them today, but they will be coming to you on a Monday video later. I promise you, because they go perfectly with some Garden Roses Direct garden roses. The colors, oh my gosh, they are so grand. And so I just thought, I have to have these. So those go by, sorry. Then poppies, look at this. Are they not exquisite? They came in tightly closed, and you can see this one's starting to crack open and just giving a little bit of an open, and these have opened. Again, they've been processed very carefully to make sure that they will open and be gorgeous. Oop, that one's getting ready to. See that? I just love these. So, you know, sometimes if you're not in a metropolitan area, you don't get to see the cool stuff, and you don't even know what to buy or what to order. And so then it can be helpful to just say, you know what? Have you got my back? Will you take care of me? Be really nice. And I want exquisite, cool stuff, and I can only spend blah, 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 blah. Surprise me. And look what I got. Oh my gosh. But those aren't for today either. And then, look at these. Japanese allium. Curvy. You saw these a while ago. We used them another time. They were that deep bluey, kind of periwinkle blue. And I'll be honest, 5 of them migrated to my house. And they're still there and beautiful. And I think that's been 2 or 3 weeks. And they are just stunning. I just have them in bud vases across the wall in my bedroom so that I wake up and see them and they make me happy. And they lasted grand. So a flower like this, which I'll be honest, is a little more expensive than some other blooms. I won't lie to you. They're not the least expensive bloom. But if it lasts at room temperature for more than 3 weeks, there's great value there. And what I was testing is I wanted to see if they kept their curvature, or if they would go straight, or if they would just go limp. They kept their curvature. So I can now vouch for these, that I think they are the greatest thing ever. So that's the Japanese allium. So, okay, now that I got rid of the things that I'm just teasing you with and not going to use, let's get started designing, because this is so cool. So my first one I'm going to do, I thought I would jump in with some ranunculus. Aren't those gorgeous? And fritillaria. Aren't those great? And, I know, don't you love that? And is always a good word. Butterfly ranunculus. Look how graceful and drapey all of this stuff is. I love that. It's going to have great movement. And then, last, from Garden Roses Direct. So I do have some of their stuff this time. This is Bessie, and I remembered that name. I've got all of them labeled, sitting over with Teacher Michelle, so that if I forget, she can remind me. But this one is Bessie. So I'm going to go with the yellow to more of a peachy, and the butterfly ranunculus kind of goes with that. So I decided to put it in the terracotta dish. And you all know terracotta isn't waterproof, but if you paid attention when we did our Tulip Tuesday, I showed you how you can waterproof it so that you can use it. If you did not see that, go back to the Tulip Tuesday playlist and you will find it, and that's on YouTube. So the Tulip Tuesday playlist tells you all about how you can take a terracotta container, waterproof it, and then be able to use it. You know what? There's value for your dollars right now. We've got great flowers, and now you know how to use terracotta. Yeah, we may as well go home. We've done enough now, don't you think? Okay, I'll stick around a little longer. Yeah. So what's going on out there?
So I have a question over here. You are showing all these beautiful flowers, some of which we don't get to see you design with today, but student wanted to know, or the person wanted to know, is that the kind of product we would work with in class?
No and yes. We have a variety of different things, like the class tomorrow has garden roses, definitely. And they've got some ranunculus, I believe, and I saw some, red currant out there. Anyway, buckets and buckets and buckets. I think there's like 30 bunches of different stuff. In the basic course, we try to have you exposed to 25, 30 different varieties. So you're going to have carnations, of course, yes. Roses, of course, yes. And then chrysanthemums, iris, tulips, liatris, orchids. Usually use two different types of orchids, cymbidium and dendrobium. And if you stay on to the advanced class, we go into bird of paradise and proteas, and then you've got hydrangea. So there's so many different varieties that my experience has been, students do not learn all the names because it's just too many to remember. So that's a good thing. That means you've got a lot of flowers to work with. Do you have fritillaria? No. It's not something we can get enough on a reliable basis to make sure that everybody can use it all the time. So that's a good yes and no question. Yes, you get some of the stuff you see here. No, you don't get everything you see here. So other questions?
No other questions, but I'd like to give a shout out to Benedict, and I'm pronouncing that the English way. He is from France, and it is his first time.
Well, let's give a big tulip welcome to Benedict, because it's nice to have first-timers. And if we have any other first-timers out there, let us know so that we can welcome you. I know it's scary to say, ooh, it's my first time. Do it. You won't regret it. And tulips, if you'll get in there and welcome them, I would really appreciate that. Okay, one more bit of homework. Okay, got your typing fingers ready? Okay, stretch those fingers, do finger exercises. I need to know, for the next arrangement, which container you get to choose. So tell me, oval or round? Okay, so which one do you want, the oval or the round? Get it typed in there, we'll come back to that later. When I'm working in a shallow dish like this, the floral netting is really a good way to secure everything in place. Then I like to go in and make sure that my mechanics are covered. So I put fatsia leaves in. And yes, you use fatsia leaves in class. That's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. So back to the question of, do I get to use that? Yes, you get to use fatsia. And if you were here tomorrow, you would get to use garden roses. So that happens. And I'm tucking them down low. I find when I'm working, if I work in layers so that I have a variety of different levels, it makes the whole arrangement a little more interesting. So I brought two this way, one over here. I'm going to come on up through the center. There we go. And then I have to come back out to the opposite side because I certainly don't want it to be flat. I want to make sure that I draw the eye from front to back, creating depth, and then also side to side so that I have line going on. So all the theories that you've learned in basic floral design, no surprises here. Okay.
Well, we don't have a first timer yet on Facebook, but Carrie is super excited. She's a graduate and she's very happy to be live with us for a change instead of just replay.
Hey Carrie, glad to have you join us live. It is always fun to be live and to connect with each other. The replay is a huge advantage because not everybody can be here at 3 o'clock Pacific time. It's just life gets in the way. So the replay allows everyone to join in, and I appreciate that when you do, whenever you do, but it is nice to be here live. So if you haven't announced yourself yet, do so. And don't forget your homework. Which vase do you want, oval or round? Next request. If you're on YouTube, go in there and put that thumbs up. Get that algorithm going, help us out. If you know somebody that should be here with us that isn't, tag them. Send them a note, say, hey, they're live, why aren't you here? Because the more the merrier. We love it when you all share and spread the word, because if it weren't for you helping us out, it wouldn't happen, that's for sure. What else you got over there, Carolyn?
Well, I'd like to give a shout out to another first timer, Claudia. And then we have Danny joining us from Malaysia at 6:15 a.m. in the morning.
Well, good morning, Danny. I love it. You know, that's what's so fun because like Tess is watching us from bed because it's almost midnight. You're just getting up at 6:15, so you're probably joining me for a cup of coffee. It's so fun to have people from all over. And who was the first timer? Do you remember?
Claudia.
Claudia. Welcome, Claudia. Everybody give her a strong welcome. Shout out to Claudia for joining us on the first time.
And we've got Colette who's in Ireland and she's up late because it's 11:15ish in her part of the world.
11:15 in Ireland. I love it. Is Begga here from Iceland yet? Her timing is way different.
I have not seen Begga yet.
Okay. I have a friend that's in Iceland right now. I was going to say on the way, but I think she is there now. And so hopefully she made it and is having a ton of fun exploring another country. We have tulips all over the world, which makes it so much fun. I'm just bringing in the buds, stretching out. Notice how that gives movement from side to side. And then I kept the brighter color a little more to the center so that it draws your eye inward. I'm going to turn it so that you can see, oh, bad Leanne. Okay.
Kim's going to yell at you if you don't get that out there.
I know Kim I remembered, but I didn't remember. I mean, it was here, but I forgot. Like, use the turntable. Okay, are we ready? Spin. Okay, Michelle, what you got?
So Jackie has a random question. She said she's ordering peonies for prom bouquets. Prom is on a Saturday. When should I pick them up to give them enough time to open?
That is a tough call. And a lot is going to depend on how tightly your supplier sends them. If they are the real tight balls, you're going to need a good 3 or 4, maybe even 5 days. But if they are starting to pop, it could be a day or two. Shameless plug, go to the Tulip Tuesday playlist, and there is opening peonies. There's a little video in there on that. Or if you just go to our website with the flower library, or let's see, it's a resource libraries, video library. There's a search, and you can type in peony, and it's in there too, so you can find it. Because it does vary. I would say earlier is better, because if you've got refrigeration, you can always put them back in the cooler and they'll hold for a while. And there's nothing worse than a peony that hasn't opened when you need it to be opened. So that can be a little tricky. That's going to be a beautiful prom bouquet though. Oh my gosh, peonies for the promers, they are going to be happy. Tucking in a little bit of mint. You know, it's interesting because foliage, especially in the Pacific Northwest, is still strongly used, but it's starting to trend out a little bit. And so what we're using is more herbs and flowery foliage. I know that sounds weird, but think the viburnums, dusty miller, jasmine, things that are almost flowery, but yet it is a foliage. Well, this one being mint gives such great fragrance, and it's a little different look than your typical foliages. Makes it a little brighter compared to the Fatsia leaves, which are so dark. And now when I turn it, you probably saw when I spun it around, the back side still had tape and such showing. So I'm going to go back and add this on the back. Make sure and cover my mechanics. Remember, Floral Design 101, hide the mechanics, make it be magic. Don't let people see your underwear. It's got to be all clean and tidy back here. So tucking that in. Then, okay, so I used ranunculus. I used roses. Let's go up a little bit. Bring in the fritillaria. Have it be a little taller. Thinking about raising the layers. Finding a hole. Putting it in. Oh, look at that. And it has such movement. Just gorgeous. You know, it's scary to try new varieties, but if you've never used something, I dare you to try it. Maybe don't send it out on an order because you don't know a lot about it, but buy a bunch of flowers that you've never bought before and take them home, just like I did the Japanese allium. I took it home and I've been watching it just to see, what does it do? How long does it last? Does it stay curved? Does it do what I want it to do? Does it behave? Does it misbehave? But if you don't take the time to buy yourself flowers and explore that, you're doing yourself a disservice because you need to learn. How do things hold up? What do they do? How does it all fit together? This flower didn't go where I want it, so I'm going to take him back out and reposition him. There we go. Sometimes you just have to tell him who's boss and make him move a little. There, I like that better. Okay, then I'm going to go back. Butterfly ranunculus. It's all tangled together a bit. Let's get it pulled apart. Other questions, thoughts, concerns?
Well, Connie here on YouTube says her daughter's getting married next March and is wanting to use herbs in her arrangements. And what herbs do you recommend?
Ooh, that's a good question for our tulips out there. So jot that question down so I come back to it because I'll share my thoughts. But I'd love to hear what our people are thinking is good. So if you use herbs in your design, what herbs do you recommend? What would be your go-tos? And I love it when you guys answer because I learn from you. And so please help us out on this. Let us know what you would do. And good job on planning ahead, doing your research, because getting flowers for a family member is always tricky because you want to be part of the party too, but all of a sudden you're the worker bee, and so the more you can plan ahead, the better. So that's excellent.
So Leanne, are you going to be able to do anything with those little baby buds you're pruning?
Good question. Yes, I am going to save these. These buds should actually open, some of them. Like this one should open. This one might be too tight, but they're beautiful just all by themselves too. You can see I used some of them here and some over here. And in fact, I might go ahead and put this one right back over here. I think it could fit in nicely, giving a little bit more movement, adding height, adjusting. What do you think? Do you like that one? Okay, that's your clue if you're listening and not watching because you're at work. What do you think of this design? It is ready for you to look. I love it. I've had people tell me all these stories about how they sneak in watching live when they're supposed to be working, and I just think that's so great. And what an honor to have you join us. I'm going to fuss with this one a little more, but I don't want to miss out on some more arrangements. But you can see how I did basically the oval centerpiece that we teach in basic floral design. But I elongated it with more legginess and kept the body tight so that it worked in a little bit more of a layering effect. But if you think about basic floral design with the centerpiece, you put something up through the center, you put things out to the side, and then you fill in that oval form. That's exactly what I did here. So what you learn in floral design from basic translates throughout the year with a variety of different materials. And you just add your own personal style and make it fabulous. So if you like this one, share this. Spread the word. Let people know, hey, there's a cool arrangement over there at Floral Design Institute. Okay, so do we have an answer as to which container I'm supposed to be using? We had these two. Remember I asked you if you wanted oval or round. Do we know what I'm doing?
Well, the clear winner is the oval on YouTube.
And same on Facebook.
No, that's great. We don't have people fighting. I hate it when you guys divide. So I have a unified decision on that. So this is going to stay aside. We don't need it right now. And we'll stick with this guy. This one, I'm glad you chose it. This is one of my favorites. It's from my personal collection. It is not available at any of the wholesale. It is a handmade ceramic that was gifted to me. And I've always loved it. It has such a unique shape, you can see, and the bottom pedestal hollow. So you do have to watch your balance when you work with it because it could be tippy. So you've got to keep the weight in the center. One of your principles of floral design, balance, which is visual as well as actual. And this one, actual is the important piece because you don't want it to be tipping over. So you got to be a little bit more careful. And then I think I'll do floral netting in it because I need something to give myself a little bit of structure. So I've just got a piece of floral netting that was left over from another day that we were using. Reuse, recycle, repurpose. We always do because it's the wise thing. So putting that in, then taping it into place using the waterproof tape. Okay, this part is sort of boring watching me do tape and stuff, so let's put your fingers to work again. Another typing, are you ready? Okay. This one or this one? Do you want blue or aqua? Let's do it that way because it'll be pretty obvious. Blue or aqua, that'll be my next one. If you don't answer, I won't do it. And I'll just go home. Ha ha ha. So make sure you type, okay? Do it. Blue or aqua?
They crack me up.
Do we have good people out there today?
Yes, we do.
Yay. You know, tulips are great. They make me happy. You guys, I see you every Wednesday and you just make my week. It makes me very, very thrilled to get to share this day with you. Wednesday is definitely my favorite day of the week, and I'm always amazed how quick it goes by. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's gone again. Now I have to wait a whole nother 7 days to get to Wednesday. There we go. So I've got that taped in. Then people always would say, do you use flower food? Yes. I use flower food in all of our things because it's got to live. I don't want it to just die. It's got to wait till tomorrow when Ricky gets photography, but then we still want to be able to enjoy it. So I fill my pitchers with water and then I add the food. That way I know I can measure it to fit the amount that I'm supposed to have. So yes, we do use flower food. I think it's a wise choice. And we also are very, very careful with our flower care and handling. So this week, when Garden Roses Direct came in, carefully processed them, making sure that they would hydrate and bloom out beautifully. you know. Then when Florabundance came in, taking the time to remove foliage, look at them, look for any damage, give them a fresh cut, quick dip them so that quick dip is the rapid hydrating treatment. Quick dip them so that they drink well, and then we keep them cold so that they hold well. And with that, easily things will last a week. Easily, which we need that because they come in on Monday and Tuesday, we use them on live on Wednesday, then we film on Thursday and Friday, and then we try to bring them in the next week and do even a little more filming and or use them again on a live stream. So these flowers have to last. It's just like in a flower shop. You don't want things to die. You want to keep them hanging around. So, oh my gosh. Teacher Carolyn, what you got there?
Regarding flower food, Sailor would like to know if you can overfeed your flowers because sometimes her tulips will go limp or turn yellowishy brown.
Okay. Yes. If you don't use the flower food correctly, it is very harmful. Too little, it actually causes it to grow more bacteria because you're putting the food in there, but you don't have enough of the antibacterial to keep the water clear. So don't do too little. Too much, the flower just gorges itself, it plugs the stem, and it's going to die. Think about Thanksgiving, when you eat all those mashed potatoes and gravy, and then you eat pie, and then you have stuffing. You get it. You put so much in your belly, you're not going to bloom. It's the same for the flowers. You want to put them on a wonderful, high-protein, low-carb diet. No, I'm making that up. But you want them to eat well because then they'll be happy. You want happy flowers. We all want happy flowers.
And now we're all hungry. Thank you, Leanne. I looked over at Carol and she's like, ooh.
I know. It's like, I'm going to eat now.
I know. Well, and I've been trying to be a very good girl and eat bunny food lately. And so I'm sitting there going, mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, ooh, all my favorite things. But back to bunny food. Bunny food is good. Actually, our farmer's market is bringing in so many wonderful things, both flowers and vegetables. And so I got beautiful little baby turnips and little radishes. It's like, ooh, so it has been fun being a bunny. So fun things here. Let's talk flowers. Tweedia. So Tweedia is a light blue, which you knew oftentimes people want a blue flower and you think, well, what is blue? What can I get? Tweedia is not available year-round, but it has a pretty long availability. And Florabundance tries to keep it on hand whenever they can. So I've gotten it several times a year. But Tweedia is a beautiful light blue. And then I thought this hyacinth was just an amazing lavender. And it is very fragrant. I've been sneezing and snuffling and going, I'm going to die. But what a palette. Then, okay, this is the weirdness. And you know, it's not something I would have chosen. I tend to not buy dyed flowers, but that was in my surprise package, which is why I like a surprise package, because it forces me to try things I wouldn't have used otherwise. And look how beautiful those are. I mean, are those not stunning? These tulips, yes, they're dyed, but that color is just exquisite. And I think that that would work for everyday work as well as event work, wedding work, where they want, you know, sometimes they want that periwinkle color and you're like, what is periwinkle? Well, this isn't truly periwinkle, but wouldn't it blend nicely? And I don't know, but I think they'll reflex well. Yes, they are. And when I reflex them, they're giving me almost a little bit of a sagey green that's showing. Ooh. This is, Ricky, can we put it on close up if I can get it in the right spot, and you'll have to coach me and guide me?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. It is sort of cool on close up. I hope the color looks good on your monitor, whatever you're watching on. That's what we have no control over, because if the color's bad on your monitor, that's life. But I will tell you, this color is fantastic. And it's reflexing really well, better than I thought it would. Is that not just grand? Oh my gosh. I'm going to do another one because that was just too much fun. You know, I can't believe I get to stand up here and play with flowers for an entire hour. Are you jealous? I would be. I would be. But I'm glad you join us. At least you get to be part of it from afar. Question for you. I know I've got you out there voting on the container, aqua or blue. You're going to turn that question in. Next question. Of the flowers that you see on the set, which one is your favorite? I just want to know, what flowers is it that turn you on, make you excited? Has to be something you see here. Okay, while I reflex a little more, Teacher Michelle, anything going on?
Well, a couple people thought it looked like a succulent once you had it open.
I was thinking the same thing.
But on camera, it looks like a blue peony, which doesn't exist.
Oh my gosh. It is kind of a peony-ish tulip with the multiple petals in there. And in fact, the pink ones I have used as a substitute for a peony in the past when these are available in the early spring and the peonies might not be available yet. But yes, I was thinking that it did sort of look like a succulent. And yes, it looks like a blue peony too. Is that? Oh my gosh. And yet it's not a flower that you would normally think about buying. And so, surprise package for the win. You know, be brave. Sometimes you just got to do something that you wouldn't have done and you think, oh, I would never do that. Be brave, try it. You might surprise yourself. I'm surprising myself on this one and I'm enjoying it. So learn something every day. Can always teach an old dog a new trick. So there we go. Then I also have hellebores. I don't think I brought those out yet. And I don't think it's out yet. Ricky, do you know, did we do the hellebores out already or is it coming?
Next Tuesday.
It's next Tuesday?
Yep.
Okay, so if you don't know how to take care of a hellebore, make sure you're on my mailing list. Subscribe to the mailing list. You go to floraldesigninstitute.com, add me to your mailing list, and then next Tuesday we have a Tulip Tuesday tip on how to make sure that your hellebores will be stunning for a very long time. And you want to know that because I want to know that and I want to share that with you. Next up, Teacher Michelle.
So on those tulips, Cindy wondered if dyeing them impacts their longevity at all.
You know, the dye does not hurt them. Yes, they are a little bit older flower when they've been dyed because they've had to drink in, but they start them when they're very, 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 very tight and immature. So they still seem to hold well. Yes, it is a little bit older tulip because it has to be to get it to drink, but I haven't found it to be a problem as far as being too dead and too short-lived. I've not had a problem with that. But that's a great question because anytime you do absorption dye of a flower, it means it is a little bit older flower. It has to be to have had that time to absorption dye. Tucking in the Tweedia and letting it just hang out a bit so that it's longer because it's so beautiful. I don't want to cut it too short.
It really pulls out those aqua blue tones in the vase.
You know, as I was looking, I thought, ooh, that just goes really well with the Tweedia. I'm glad it shows well on camera that way because I was wondering. It's like, we try, and then by the time you get it in with the studio lights and the flowers and my shadow and whatever else, and then your monitor, things just always look different. And that's the harsh reality. We try to do our best. We have so many lights in here because, as you know, the secret to good photography is lots and lots of light. And so we try to make sure that we get as good a color as we possibly can, but then we have to deal with the reality of things. So I've got Tweedia, I've got hyacinths. As I start to put the rest in, other questions? Well, you didn't even ask a question while I could drink my coffee? That's your clue. I need a sip of coffee. You talk amongst yourselves. Okay, why are you not typing? I want more questions in there so that I have something to have them say to me so I can drink a cup of coffee. Oh, you're not doing your part. I swear. Come on, tulips. Okay, I'm going to add in some roses. These are a lolly spray rose, Loli, lolly spray rose. They're from Garden Roses Direct. And look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blooms on there. Talk about great value. These are going to be just beautiful in here. I'm going to cut them apart and use some a little bit lower and some a little bit longer.
Leanne, Jim wants to know what roast level your coffee is today.
My coffee, I have been sort of overdoing it. Can you tell? Yeah. Oops. I love my coffee.
So as far as you asked them to tell you their favorite flower on the set today.
What are we hearing?
So far on Facebook, tulips have it hands down.
Oh, interesting. So the dyed tulips. How about YouTube? Have they put in answers over there?
Yeah, it's hellebores and tulips are the two faves.
Okay, hellebores and tulip. I love it. Oh my gosh. So if you haven't answered yet, go ahead and type in what's your favorite, because that just helps us to know what flowers we should be sourcing, what flowers we should be including when we do classes or we do live streams. Because just because we like it doesn't mean you're going to like it. So we want to know what's are your favorites. So I better use the hellebores since you say it was a favorite. They are so gorgeous. I love the way they drape. They just have that wonderful curvature. Turn it so you can see that guy.
So talking about the Tweedia, Leanne, what's the vase life like on those? Is that a shorty or a long?
You know, I would say almost medium. It's not too short, actually. I've had pretty good luck with it. I would say 4 to 6 days. I would say probably never more than 6. So 4 to 6 with probably 4 to 5 being most normal. But I always think of a short-lived flower as being 3 days or less, and a long-lived flower being 5 or more. And so this is right on that edge, and a lot depends on at what stage it was harvested and sent to you. Also, if you make sure you get it hydrated very quickly and well. If you don't do that, you don't stand a chance. It gets a little temperamental, so definitely. So I've got a couple broken roses over here, so I'm going to go ahead and grab those and use them because I can use them to help make sure that I conceal my mechanics. I've got a little bit of tape showing here, but if I tuck a rose down low, and same here, I'll tuck a rose down low so that my mechanics are concealed. But I certainly don't want my tape to show. I want that hidden. Then I'm going to go back and add in my tulips. I'm glad you like those because I did too. And I thought, ooh, those are a little funky. I hope people like them. But they're so cool, and I'm glad you like them because I think they're funky and fabulous.
Sarah had a question about Lily of the Valley. She said she's never really seen it used much, and she's never smelled one, but she wondered if they are used in flower arrangements.
Lily of the Valley is used. It's a relatively expensive flower because it's loved, but with a very, very short season of availability. And I know they're trying to get it to be more year-round availability, but it just hasn't happened. They're sort of year-round, but with such a small amount that the price gets exorbitant. When it is in season here, I always grab it. And in season, it holds pretty well, but it is still a short-lived flower. It's super popular for wedding work because it has a short stem, so it's a little bit more difficult to use for anything else. It has to be very small and compact, And then it's one of the more expensive blooms for a little tiny compact thing. They do have great fragrance. There's really nothing bad about a lily of the valley. They are so spectacular. When I do wedding work, I often have to substitute silk lily of the valley, because if the client wants it, you want to provide it, but if Mother Nature hasn't provided it, you've got to have a backup. And so oftentimes I end up using the silk lily of the valley, even though my intention was to do fresh, which that's disappointing, but it's the cold, harsh reality. My in-laws, when they lived, when they were alive and their farm was in Indiana, one whole section by the front of the house and the side of the house was just a meadow of lily of the valley. And if I would visit them in May, that's when it was in bloom, there was literally thousands of dollars of lily of the valley blooming in their yard. It was like, oh my gosh. And so I would always pick it and just act like I was a millionaire with all these flowers. And they would laugh at me because it was a weed, but it was the most beautiful weed ever. It was just so grand. So tucking things in. I'm going to stop on that one. Okay, this is your clue. Do you like it? If you were watching through your ear, time to pick up your phone and take a look. It's really got two fronts. I did it two-sided. I didn't really plan that. I didn't know what I was doing, but I love it. What do you think? You like it? Ah. So I want to make sure I get on to the next one. So I'm going to set it aside. We will finish fluffing these out and post on the Tulip Bunch tomorrow so that you get to see it first, the private Facebook page. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will be posting them out, and Susie will be posting them out. We'll get them all on the social channels so that you can see them. So do we know, is it blue or aqua?
Well, by just 2 votes, Aqua wins on YouTube.
It's tied on Facebook. As somebody would hit blue and then it would pop in aqua.
I know.
We're tied.
It was completely tied, then 2 last minutes came in for Aqua.
Well, then we'll go with aqua. Aqua by 2. So if you were a blue lover and you didn't type, sorry. You'll learn. Make sure you do. You know, if you don't vote, your vote matters. It really does. Okay. So again, filling it with flower food. That took the entire picture. Okay, I got it. Move things around here. We can only have so much on the set at one time because Leanne runs out of space. And I try to work neat and tidy. You know, if you've been to flower school, that's one of my pet peeves. I hate messy designing. It's like, no, 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 no. Keep yourself organized. Let's move that over there. Okay. Oh, I forgot about these.
Yes.
Okay. This is a new Alstroemeria. Let's try to do this. I'll see if I can get it into the camera. Okay. This one is called Fashionista. Fashionista, how cool is that? And it looked just how ruffly and so many petals. And Alstroemeria holds for such a long time that I think this is going to be a popular item. I think it's going to be a very popular item. Might be piano, I don't remember. You're going to have to help me with this one because I can't recall.
That's it there in your hand. Yep.
It is Dance Party.
Dance Party.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, this one I saved because I wanted to share with you. This is so cool. You know Pittosporum, that's pretty easy. And talk about a tree of Pittosporum, so I'm just going to whittle the end a bit. I'm not even going to try to cut it. It's like, oh my gosh, this thing is enormous. But what's cool about it, it came in with blooms. Is that so fun? And it's fragrant. It's just pittosporum, but it is blooming, and it just made me like, oh, how cool is that? I have never bought pittosporum with a bloom on it before, so that was new to me. Maybe you have seen it in your world with the bloom, but I had not, and so that was quite the treat when I opened the surprise package. Again, you know, I recommend doing a surprise package periodically. Try something new, be brave, let somebody else pick your stuff just to see what you get, because you'll be amazed. Sometimes you get things that you never dreamed of. Larkspur, beautiful lavender larkspur. I was like, ooh, that's so pretty. There was also some great white larkspur in the package, but I already used that in a film, which you'll see coming out in a few weeks. So you didn't get to see it on set, sorry. But we made a beautiful cutting garden arrangement using the white larkspur, and it was so grand. But I saved the lavender larkspur for you because I thought, ooh, that's beautiful and has such lovely movement to it. I use the buds as well as the blooms because they're wonderful. Why would you not? Just kind of setting them down in there. Bring it in. So I'm going to be hiding behind my arrangement here. Okay, am I too tall for the camera, Ricky?
You're just barely under the top.
Just under, so I win, okay. I could give myself an extra half an inch. There we go, so much for the spinner because I want that half inch. But getting some height in there. I'm going to turn around and see if I like my placement. Oop, I'm going to turn this one in a little bit more this direction. I like that better. Okay, so sometimes you put it in and it's just not quite where you want it, so you have to adjust around. So that's what I did. Then, what do I want to do? I think I'll go to the deep. Dance party. Dance party. I love that. So my dance party roses, they seem so happy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blooms on there, all gorgeous. So wonderful.
That one stems its own arrangement.
I know. It was like it doesn't take a lot when you've got flowers that are so great. You know, it's interesting. So many times students say, but my flowers aren't as pretty as your flowers. And the difference is that oftentimes we spend a lot of time on care and handling. A whole lot of time. Oh, broken little guy. Well, you know what? I'm going to use that for a personal experiment. And so tomorrow I'm going to try it in doing it with flowers to wear. Gluing it into place and watching just to see how long it lasts, because I bet you it lasts a really long time. So that's going to be Leanne's experiment there. Let's see, I think I can scooch this direction. Yeah. But anyway, back to the care and handling. Oftentimes, as long as you have a good supplier, that's important. Make sure you have a good supplier. That's why we like to use Flora Abundance, because they're reliable. I wish they were here. I wish they were my neighbor. They're down outside of Santa Barbara. So if you're in the Southern California area, you could go visit them in person, pick your own flowers right off the floor of the cooler, which would be so exciting. But we're not there, so I have to trust that I send a note to Debbie and I say, hey Debbie, I want to do some filming with your stuff. Can you send me a surprise package? And she does. So this is kind of cool how even the leaf has a little bit, it's like it's a mutation from the foliage to the floret. Very interesting. I'm loving these. And I think they're going to hold incredibly well. I think they're going to be a very long laster in there. So I'm just making sure that everything gets down into the water well. I don't want it to dry out because that would really be bad. Then let's see what else I want to put in there.
So Leanne, correct me if I'm wrong, but the pittosporum is your mechanic for securing things, correct? You didn't put floral netting in?
That is correct.
Okay.
I did just the pittosporum, and think back to basic floral design when you learned the weave technique. That's what I've done, is I just worked with the weave technique so that I have a natural mechanic and I don't have floral netting, I don't have any sort of armature. It is just that natural weave, and I started with the pittosporum, and then the magic is the larkspur, because since it already had laterals and such, the buds, they help with that weave, which then supports everything else. So I put that first before I put the other things. Then going to the hot pink, almost reddish spray rose, kind of like the Pantone color of the year, which worked perfectly with the fashionista Alstroemeria. Then what do you think? I've got choices here. I guess we need another vote. Do you want more spray roses going into pink, or do you want Kiara garden roses, bringing in pink that way? So type really fast. Come on, guys. I need you to type fast because I need to get this arrangement done. So get on it, and I'm going to gather some of our materials, but vote spray rose or Kiara garden rose.
Garden, 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 garden. It's like
Same here.
Tommy gun
Okay.
over here.
Thanks for being unified. That makes my life better. And I'll be honest, I was hoping you would say that, because when I grabbed the spray roses and I brought them up, I was like, I don't really want to do that. But then I thought, well, maybe they want it. But yeah, the Kiara garden rose, and it smells so good, and it will just tuck in here, giving a little bit more wow to the arrangement. I think with Mother's Day coming up, garden roses could be a secret weapon to make people absolutely love your work, because it's just a little bit glamorous, and yet it's very approachable because it's a rose, so it's not scary. And with garden roses direct, it makes it easy because they ship just directly to your door. You don't have to worry about, how do I source those? They come to you direct from the farm, so you don't have to worry, are they going to be old? Are they going to last? And I find that the garden roses from Garden Roses Direct will last sometimes 2 weeks. They're kind of amazing because you're getting them so fresh. You're bypassing and just going direct to the farm. Umbrella fern. Just decided I wanted to put a collar in here. So people, you've got just a few minutes. Do you have a question for me? Anything that I didn't answer that you wish I had answered, type it in. I know, Carolyn, we had that question that I said table it, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, herbs for bouquets.
Ah, herbs, that's right, because you're doing your daughter's wedding and she wants herbs. And the ones that I use frequently, my go-to, are mint, rosemary, sage, and thyme. Now, I've also used sweet Annie, but is that an herb? I'm not even sure. No? Okay, so those are mine. Teacher Michelle, Carolyn, do you have other herbs you use?
You just listed my go-tos, and another one you could add in there is lavender.
Oh, I never think of lavender as an herb, but it is. And yes, lavender would be wonderful too. The thing with herbs is they add that fragrance, and it also just gives a real organic, natural vibe to the design, which I think in this day and age, people like that. So, yeah, so I've got that in there. Other questions? I told you had a minute to ask questions. Did anything come in?
Not yet. I did an all call though.
Okay.
Not here either, but I have to tell you that umbrella fern took that arrangement to the next
Yep,
level.
exactly.
Did it work?
Yep.
Winner! You know, sometimes you get lucky. I was like, okay, well, this is just a standard vase arrangement. What am I going to do to make it more special? I mean, yes, it's special flowers, but there you go. Sometimes it's those little tiny touches that can make all the difference in the world. Now, if you wish you could design like this, join us for Flower School. This is what we teach, day in and day out, you know, and it's what I love to do. So keep me employed, please, because I like to be a flower teacher. If you've got questions, you can always reach out to the rest of the tulips and ourselves. We are always here to help. Don't miss out on the weekly collaboration. And if you want to know how to do that waterproof ceramic terracotta, just go to the YouTube playlist for Tulip Tuesday. And if you want to know how to keep your hellebores live, that's coming out next week. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter. That way you get it. If you want to have a ton of fun, hang out with the tulips. We have a good time, and I really love it when you come. So thank you, Susie. Thank you, Caledonia. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Carolyn. And thank you for joining us for this hour. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. And I look forward to seeing you all next week with more fabulous flowers.